Right then, where were we in the last LEGO City update? I was working on a little bit of the plaza, a little bit of the supermarket area, and of course the harbour, which is currently the messiest thing in the city because it's just... I put all the vehicles here just to see how things are looking. I didn't put them away again when I started to work on it. So we're going to tidy that up. And I did order a few parts to finish off the Mills plating, and they have finally arrived. Some of them, well, I ordered four different orders. 3 of them arrived in one on the same day, and the other one took an extra 3 days to arrive, and I placed all the orders at the same time. So I did have to wait, but here we are on my messy desk with all sorts of parts everywhere. But I do have a few packages for the parts to finish off the harbour. But it's getting closer to Christmas, and I should probably get working on that Winter Village. And, you know, I can only do so many things at once, so what would you rather see? LEGO City updates or Winter Village updates? I will be doing Winter Village either way, but which one do you want to see more of? Tell me in the comments. I guess since we're here now, we can take a look at the parts. Nothing exciting, it's just basic LEGO parts. Although I did pick up a couple of things, which, like these printed window pieces for the fire station. So when I get around to doing my finishing off my fire station expansion, I've got a couple more of those. And I picked up a bunch of these rail pieces because that big red crane I have in the harbour, at the moment it's static, but I want to have that on rail so I can slide back and forth just a little bit. So I think that's pretty cool. Got all the parts to do that. And then some other little miscellaneous things. Ooh, parts are flying everywhere. I'll find that in a moment. But plenty more yellow 2x2 plate. I use this as the underlying plate for my Mills roads because it just works nicely. And it's cheap colour, so I can work with that. What else have we got? Some train track ballast for finishing off the track down there. So the ballast is the same as that. And then just some brick to finish off the Mills plate in the harbour. And one of the sellers also had these one of the sellers ordered from also had these plates here. So we've got glow in the dark white, I think it's trans bright green, and then this pearl grey, gunmetal grey colour for my trying to collect every single 1x2 in which colour they come in. So I've nearly got them, just a few of the older and rarer colours to get, but eventually I make my own colour chart using all those. I've organised everything out into piles, so it's nice and easy to pick out the parts I need. And there was also a couple other miscellaneous things that I ordered, including these arrow signs here. They're on like the clip pieces. These are from a really old set, I think like 20 years ago. They don't make them anymore, but these are really good condition. It said used, so I was a bit sceptical, but I like those. I'm sure I can find use for those around the city. So now I've got the parts, let's finish these Mills plates.
I miscalculated.
I don't have enough of the 1x2 curved bricks. Yeah, because I need to go in all these gaps here. Damn, that's annoying. Mills plates all mostly finished, apart from the few extra grey bricks that I need to fill in the gap. And I need to get the plates for the train yard area, but I didn't plan to do that today anyway, because I want to kind of just do that whole in one thing and just make it look a bit cool and interesting. So that's a separate thing, but at least the foundations are done. And then to free up some of those grey bricks, I thought, and to add a bit of colour, I could add a couple of ladders coming out of the water in case anyone fell in or something like that. So just a few of those dotted around. And then I'm thinking of using these pieces, these little panel pieces, to go kind of in these gaps here, just to act as a little safety barrier or a little wall. So, you know, people can see, oh, that's the edge there. So I think that'll look quite nice. And then I've still got the rails for the crane to do on, but I need to kind of work on this as well. There we go, much tidier now. Yeah, happier with that. And of course, we've still got a few buildings to add, for example, to finish off the office. Another little structure and small crane over here. And in the back corner where there's some studs, it's going to be like just a little small building to represent like the office for the train yard. But yeah, I've done it all digitally, so it's going to look good and it'll fit. Yeah, just takes time to put it all together in real life. Now let's turn our attention to this crane from the recent LEGO City Harbour set from this year. Very happy with it. I really like the look of this thing. It is a really good building for a LEGO City set. This is what it came in as per the instructions. It's like a really solid, kind of built into the ground, sturdy thing. But I'm thinking of putting it on rails just so I can slide back and forth. Because the other little crane that I'm going to have over here is going to be a static one. It's going to be the 2011 Harbour set, which I used to have. So I need to kind of rebuild that one. I think that's going to go there, which is what this truck is from. So yeah, it might not be realistic, but you know, I want to have that, just a bit of variety. So I need to change up the base and add on the rails. I've just built the rails that the crane is going to roll on, and I got the idea and the instructions from the 2014 LEGO City cargo train set, where they had a yellow crane, different style of crane, but it used this mechanism, and I've seen other people use it too. It's pretty simple, just uses the rail pieces there, and then obviously we've got these yellow bars on the end to act as stoppers on a couple of plates as well. So it's a pretty simple technique, but it's a pretty effective one, and honestly, that's what the Lego City Harbour set from this year was kind of lacking, because you had, obviously, the ship, where it had 2 of the containers, but the crane can't move, so you had to move the boat to be able to unload both of them off, and it was a bit awkward and everything. So what it really needed was an extra bit of harbour space, so it could have the crane on tracks and move instead of having the seaside beach stuff. Honestly, it should have been 2 sets in one, but I talk about that more in my review. So if you want to see more of this set, I have done a full review on that as well. And then for the wheels that I'll attach to the crane, it's using these ones. They're kind of train wheels, because it works on like train track essentially on these wheel holders here. Okay, so there's a couple of unexpected issues with this idea. Firstly, the size of it. I thought the crane was 16 studs this way, but it's actually 14 and it's 16 the other way, because that's how I plan to have the rails obviously attached on these road plates here on the end studs here, because, you know, we've only got the stud space there, and I just wanted to clip it on like that, and hey, it looked great. And that means the road space is a little bit wider. I mean, even at 14 studs, it's wide enough for a truck to come down fine. So I could make it work. Secondly, once you take it off the base, it's a little bit flimsy at the back here, just by the use of the technical elements used in the frame. And it's not, I can't really make it 16 studs wide. Like, well, it would be a little bit more involved than I planned to do, but I might experiment with that. I could move the leg back too, by, instead of having in this technical, move everything else over, but then we're just literally a fraction too short to connect there. And then if I move this further back, it's not going to be in line with this bit. So yeah, I'm sure some of you looking at this pretty obviously thinking, well, just move this and this, but I wanted to make as few changes as possible. Okay, I have figured it out using just the pieces from the set, so nothing added, nothing, well, a couple things removed, but I'll talk about that. So on this, on the left side here is how the original kind of how the beams are, and that degree of arch, and how they're in these Technic holes here, so that you can see it's in the middle of that Technic brick, and same there. And then the leg was originally attached into this Technic hole, and the beam continued past it, but by raising the attachment point in the middle up a brick and 1 plate, and then adjusting the hole in 1 more, which now allowed me to attach the leg directly through the beam instead of it being 2 separate ones, and connect. Now the spacing is 16 studs down at the bottom. Everything connects at the top here is just a little bit taller, but honestly it's not too bad, and it is just using like even these bricks from the original set. So if anything, the only parts I took out were a Technic pin and this little spacer piece. There we go, the crane is in its new home, and it is just the right height, so obviously it can lift up from the ship and load onto my Lego City cargo truck here as well. So there's just a little bit of clearance there, but it's good enough. And obviously it's on the wheels, so it can slide back and forth. Maybe 1 or 2 slight issues with this though, is that because of how this is all connected with a 3 long Technic pin, which is frictionless, it does mean that these back legs here, they do just, you know, swing out loosely. I don't know if that comes in a friction variant. I might have to check that out. Otherwise, you know, it's fine, just a bit delicate if you want to do this for yourself, but at least it makes putting onto the rails a bit easier, but it does slide on those no problem. I could maybe make like a cross beam using some plates along the top here, because that won't really get in the way of trucks when it's going over top of them, and obviously it's not going to get in the way of the container because that's held in the middle. So I might play about with that just to make it a bit stronger, but otherwise, yeah, I'm very happy with it. And just figuring out how to widen it just using the existing parts, and obviously a little couple extras, but the math really worked out there, so I was very lucky with that. I could put this 16x2 plate along the top, and that will help brace the strength of it. Again, obviously it's not getting in the way of the truck or the container there, but does that ruin the look? Maybe if I put a few more red tiles so it blends in, or swap out for a red plate. It's still using the hazard stripes that were on there. Obviously I'll take out these Technic pins maybe. What do you think? I don't know. I mean, it definitely makes it a lot stronger, so that's good. I've just decorated it a bit more. I think that looks better. It blends in. I might swap out the plate for red or just white so it's more consistent with the colour scheme, but honestly light grey is fine. Although I just found another issue which I don't think I can solve unless, well, it's a bit heavy on the end obviously once it's holding a container, and this has got nothing in it. So I'd probably need to add a counterweight on this end, but Lego don't make those, they used to. I'll just have to pretend that the container is either waiting to be picked up or it's above the truck, just so the thing doesn't tip over. Well, I've pretty much achieved what I set out to do today. Obviously, we've got the crane moving. disappointing that I was wrong about how many of those bricks I needed, so always another update coming soon. The train yard will get done at some point, but for now let's just pretend it's done. But otherwise everything is looking pretty good. The only thing that's left for me to do today is just tile off this area out here, get rid of the grass and put down some paving slabs. Oh, and I also need to get a couple more bits just to extend this barrier just slightly so it goes all the way across. Tiles have been placed, it looks smooth, it looks nice, few studs for minifigures to stand on, and I realised out of all this whole like area, I know it's mostly like road space, but there's nowhere for minifigures to stand, and I do want some to be like offloading trucks and things, so I've ordered a few more modified tiles to go in some of these spaces. But then we got space for where the stairs to the harbour office, they're going to connect onto that, and we got a little kind of entryway, and this is just part of, obviously like the whole city is only part of the city, this isn't it. It exists beyond the table edge, and this is the exit. So vehicles, you know, like further down the street that way, there's a way in, come out this way. That's why we got the stop sign and no entry there. That's the little checkout sort of thing. And that's why I kind of tapered the road in a little bit, so it's kind of like a one-way street coming out before obviously it widens to go back down the main city. Well, that pretty much concludes this week's LEGO City update. Some good progress again, very happy with how the harbour's coming along. I didn't expect to be doing this so soon, but it's basically near enough finished now, so we're over halfway, which is great to see. Yeah, just a couple of things that I will continue in the next LEGO City update, so subscribe for that. And if you become a channel member, you get early access to LEGO City updates, plus a whole bunch of other videos, so consider that as well. Thank you very much, I'll see you next time, bye! Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel, or on one of my other channels as well. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends.